Hi there everybody, Goose here, owner and main director here at LoveChirp Entertainment, and I'm here to answer your questions you sent in. These questions range from all of our current projects, including Inuyo High, Hopper's Hotel, and CHORDSTRUCK, though some small Garden of Sinsin and Care of Gongon questions are being answered here. A total of 42 questions are being answered today, most of which include multiple questions in one, so without further ado, let's get started. Will there be a Garden of Sinsin 2? If not, then would at some point after Inuyo High Lesson 1 releases that you create another small game exploring more about Arion? There are no current plans for a second Garden of Sinsin game. The game was simply made as an April Fool's parody, and I personally think it would be silly to continue it. However, Arion is a character that I would like to explore more in the future, so it's possible he makes another appearance. Will Inuyo High have save game and load game? Because most of your old projects doesn't have save and load game, it only has checkpoints. While not implemented in the game at the moment, there are plans to add save and load functions to Inuyo High. I know our previous games have not included these basic functions, and I understand it's pretty annoying, so we will be adding them into Inuyo High. Is Hopper's Hotel going to be like Inuyo High, more scarier and spoopy? Will there any return character in Inuyo High from original Care of Gongon? Will CHORDSTRUCK game be real? Similar to Inuyo High, the upcoming reboot of Hopper's Hotel will focus much more on horror. It will likely have scarier environments and characters, as well as a darker story. I can't say much about upcoming Inuyo High content, but there definitely will be new characters in future lessons. Some of those may or may not be returning characters, but I cannot say who just yet. And yes, the CHORDSTRUCK game will indeed happen. It is currently in an early stage of development. I also can't say much about this game yet, but if anyone has any questions about it, feel free to ask and I'll answer what I can. There will be more beautiful Mascot game projects like Hopper's Hotel and Care of Gongon? The simple answer to this is no. There are not any plans to make any more Mascot horror games after Inuyo High and Hopper's Hotel are over with. If there are any new game series made by us, then it would likely be something brand new. If it's not already apparent, we've been expanding the company to create more than just simple Mascot horror games, and while we haven't moved on from them, we've been doing things that aren't necessarily Mascot horror related, like CHORDSTRUCK for example. Out of all the games you've created over the years, which one would you say is your favorite? While the obvious answer to this is Inuyo High Lesson 1, that game has not released yet. So for the currently released games, my favorite would be Hopper's Hotel 2. I am quite proud of that game in several aspects, the music, story, characters, and overall gameplay. There will be low graphic settings for low-end PC players in Inuyo High, and Inuyo High can surpass Hopper's Hotel and Care of Gongon like best Mascot game in the future, if this game will be best game of all time. Yes, Inuyo High does have graphic options and settings for lower-end devices. It is very customizable, featuring settings for shadows, textures, lighting, reflections, view distance, post-processing, and more. As for the second question, I personally believe Inuyo High is a much better game than Hopper's Hotel and the dreaded second game you mentioned, but of course that is just personal opinion. Okay, lots of questions here, but that's fine. I'll just go one by one, starting with the Inuyo High questions. Are the character VA in Inuyo High similar to the VA in Care of Gongon? The characters in Inuyo High who originate from Care of Gongon will be keeping their original voice actors. So, for example, I will still be voicing Inuyo, and Cobalt B will still be voicing Officer Chloan. How long did you spend making Inuyo High? So far, Inuyo High has been in development since November of 2024. However, the game restarted development around February of 2025. Would you port Inuyo High to mobile? There are plans for Inuyo High to come to mobile devices. Will Inuyo High have spin-offs like Hopper's Hotel, like Hopper Holiday and Hopper's Halloween? And finally, there are plans for more Inuyo High projects beyond the main series. Unfortunately, I can't say what they are just yet, so you'll just have to wait and see. Now for the Hopper's Hotel questions. Will the game be remade? Because Charcoal has left the internet. Hopper's Hotel will indeed be remade from the ground up. The series will be receiving a reboot of sorts after the Inuyo High lessons have concluded. I'm not sure when that will be, unfortunately. All characters have received redesigns, the environments will be significantly upgraded, and the story has been improved, but at its core is still the same. Will Hopper's Hotel be released on mobile? All Hopper's Hotel games will be released on mobile devices. I have worked to create a new version of the Hopper's Hotel mobile ports, and I've also made ports for Hopper's Hotel 2 and Hopper's Holidays. I am unsure of when these will release, but development has concluded on those. What percentage of the Hopper's Hotel 3 project has been completed? Since the original Hopper's Hotel series will not be continued, and instead will be rebooted in the future, Hopper's Hotel 3 will not release. However, around 84% of the original game was made before this decision. Again, it will not be releasing though. Will you release Hopper's Hotel Reboot in chapters one by one, or will you drop the first two chapters together? This is a great question. I won't give away the release schedule for the Hopper's Hotel reboot, as I already know how I'm going to approach it, but what I can say is that Chapters 1 and 2 will release simultaneously, both being available for free, since the original versions of them were also released for free. Chapters 3 and on will be paid, however. Will there be a possibility that Inuyo High will have better quality of the game? I'm talking about the UI, shading, scarier models in the game, and more than the games you've made before. Another question: what will you and your team do after Inuyo High and Hopper's Hotel reboot comes out? Another great question. The quality itself of Inuyo High is significantly higher than our previous projects in all aspects. Since you brought it up, the UI has been completely overhauled and is much more polished compared to our previous games such as Care of Gongon and Hopper's Hotel. Especially menus such as the settings menu have been changed to be much more cohesive and easy to navigate. The shading and character designs are also significantly upgraded in this game compared to our past work. The environments are designed to be much darker, and the characters are much creepier. As for your second question, after our team is finished with both the Inuyo High and Hopper's Hotel series, we will likely move on to new projects separated from Mascot Horror. As I stated previously, we've been expanding the company in different ways, and I want part of that to include a variety of different genres for our projects. To use CHORDSTRUCK as an example again, not only is it a webcomic instead of a video game, but it's also a drama series, which is very unique from our previous work, which mostly consisted of horror. Hopper's Hotel. In the Hopper's Hotel reboot, will the story take a bit of a darker turn than the original? I feel the original was a bit too light. Inuyo High. Will Den be hot in Inuyo High? Garden of Sinsin. Will there be a Chapter 2? Personally, I hope not, but I'm just wondering. Edit. Will there be any swearing or curse words in your games, like Hopper's Hotel or Inuyo High? To answer your Hopper's Hotel question, yes, the story will take a darker tone than before. Without giving away too much, I want the game to focus more on the narrative and impact of the events that occur within the game. For example, Jamie's father went missing before the events of the series, but seemed to have no impact on her in the original. This is something I can already confirm will be handled much better in the reboot. Will Den be hot in Inuyo High? Oh yeah, for sure, he's just so hot. As for your Garden of Sinsin question, as stated before, there are no plans to create a sequel to this game. And for your final question, there currently isn't any bad language in Inuyo High and Hopper's Hotel, though the writing is still incomplete, so who knows. Maybe Inuyo will show up and say let's move on. How much will Inuyo High cost on Steam? I believe I've answered this before, but Inuyo High Lesson 1 will cost $5 US. Is the Hopper's Hotel reboot going to take place in a different location, or just take place in the same hotel location? The Hopper's Hotel reboot will still take place inside the hotel, but it will be significantly improved compared to the original version. If you could relive any of your games, which one would it be? Will the Hopper's Hotel reboot be something completely new, or just a reboot of the characters, map, etc.? As for your first question, I would love to relive the experience of when Hopper's Hotel 2 first released. Overall, it was a very exciting time in the community, and seeing everybody's reactions to the continuation of the story was a lot of fun.
Oh no! No!
As for the Hopper's Hotel reboot, like I said earlier, it will be a revision of the story, characters, and locations to create an overall more immersive and engaging experience. What inspired the character designs in Inuyo High? Honestly, it differs depending on the character. Since the Inuyo Academy is an all-ages school, I wanted the character designs to reflect that. For example, Lastile and Chatterbox are much more playful in the design, while characters like Miss Sunshine and Lumocto are much more sophisticated. I wanted the differences in the designs of the characters to reflect the different age groups attending the school. How do you manage the music production for CHORDSTRUCK? I'm not quite sure what was meant by this question. CHORDSTRUCK being a webcomic does not have any music. It doesn't have any sound design at all, actually. The series has music as one of the central themes, though, so an album based on the series has been considered. No progress has been made on it, though, so who knows. Is Miss Sunshine Tialani's replacement? No. All of the characters in Inuyo High are completely separate from each other, including the characters who were scrapped. No one was made to replace anybody, and Miss Sunshine is definitely her own unique character. I have some questions. Will you be able to show us a new sneak peek about Inuyo High in this video? Would Inuyo High contain Gen Z words? Did you regret nicking Care of Gongon? And when will you guys make a CHORDSTRUCK dubbed comic? For your first question, I will not show off anything new for Inuyo High just yet. When I'm able to, though, I'll try to show off a sneak peek at the game. As for the second question, the Inuyo High doesn't have any Gen Z words in it, assuming you mean, like, brain-rotted terms? Like Riz or something. Now for the third question. This is honestly a complicated question to answer, as my feelings about the game fluctuate from time to time. But I will do my best to answer. I don't regret making Care of Gongon at all. It was what built this community into what it is today, and kickstarted my game dev career. However, I wish that the game that did that was something unique instead of being something so heavily inspired by another game. The reason for this is that I'm so heavily tied to this game now instead of any of the original projects I've created. So, overall I don't regret making it, I'm actually very thankful for it, but I wish that it wasn't what got me popular in the first place. As for your final question, CHORDSTRUCK's dub has actually not even been started yet, and I'm unsure of if it will happen or not. It would be nice and would draw a new audience to the series, but there's also the question of where it would be published, who would actually be doing the voiceovers of the characters, and more. It's a bit complicated, so I can't give a definitive answer, unfortunately. Will Inuyo High have more gameplay mechanics/elements than just the taser tool? Inuyo High's gameplay doesn't only revolve around the taser mechanic. In fact, it also has puzzles and investigation involved in the gameplay. It is a survival horror game, avoiding monsters is also an important part of the gameplay. It's a bit simple, but I think that is necessary for the first installment of the series before I inevitably ramp things up going forward. What about Care of Gongon 4 remake? Will you make more games related to Care of Gongon? The Care of Gongon 4 remake, previously being developed by Prism World Co, has been cancelled by them. I believe they, just like me, believe that Care of Gongon simply needs to be put to rest. I agree with this statement too, which is why I will not be making any more Care of Gongon related games. The series is over, and I believe it's time to move on. Why is Inuyo High not getting more trailers? The answer to this is very simple. I am waiting to make a new trailer until the game is much further along in development. I want to avoid any long gaps between trailers again, so I'm waiting to ensure it doesn't happen again. I have questions, I suppose. Is Inuyo High almost done? What happened to the CHORDSTRUCK roleplay on Roblox? Will Hopper 2 and maybe others get rebooted, or only Chapter 1? For your first question, it's complicated. Gameplay-wise, Inuyo High Lesson 1 has progressed very far. Most of the gameplay is actually done, but the game itself is not. Most of the work that's being put into the game involves carefully crafting the environments to fit our exact vision for the game, which takes a lot of time, of course. So, while the gameplay is mostly complete, the visual design of the game is taking so long. I actually plan to create another video about exactly why this game is taking as long as it is, but I'm unsure of when that will release. As for your second question, the CHORDSTRUCK roleplay actually never began development. We hosted a poll to see if people would be interested in it, but never started on anything. It could still happen in the future though. What do you guys think? Shall we make one? And finally, for your last question, the entire Hopper's Hotel series is included in this reboot. The reboot is designed to be a huge revision of the previous games, so the future chapters can work much better. Do you have a planned date for Inuyo High? Will Hopper's Hotel reboot have animation changes? Last, will CHORDSTRUCK be translated into another language? Inuyo High is currently scheduled to release this year. I have a general idea of when it could release, but unfortunately nothing is final. As for the Hopper's Hotel reboot, the animation will be changed completely. Everything is being redone, which includes the character models and rigs. Because of this, the animations naturally must be redone. And finally, CHORDSTRUCK's pilot episode was translated into Spanish, but that is all we've done. Before she left the internet, Charcoal translated for CHORDSTRUCK, but now that she's gone and doesn't work with us much anymore, we don't have a translator. I will try to get the remaining episodes translated into Spanish myself though. Would the Hopper's Hotel reboot have a different story from the original? Is Garden of Sinsin a crossover series? The Hopper's Hotel reboot will have the same story as the original series, just with changes to make it more interesting and engaging. The original vision of the story will remain intact, but it will be improved upon heavily. And I suppose Garden of Sinsin is a crossover game, though it isn't a series since there is and only will be one game. Howdy hey, Jacko's here. I saw the post and decided to ask you a few questions, so here goes. How are you today? On a scale of 1 to 10, how scary is Inuyo High Lesson 1? How would you rate it? And if possible, a Lesson 2. Will the Hopper's Hotel reboot have those bits of goofiness the original game series has, or will it be something completely serious? What was your inspiration to make CHORDSTRUCK, and how can you make comics without losing motivation? That's all the questions I have. Thank you and have a great day. I'm doing great, thank you for asking, and I hope you feel the same. Man, I'm not very good at rating things from 1 to 10, but I can assure you Inuyo High Lesson 1 is definitely pretty scary. I mean, I'm making the game and it's even scared me. I will also mention that Lesson 2 should be even scarier than Lesson 1. We've already made good progress on the script and know exactly what we want for the game. As for your second question, pretty much everything we make will always have that bit of goofiness present in it. To me, small hints of silliness add a lot of charm and character to a game, and Hopper's Hotel is no different. It will definitely keep the same silly vibe that the original had, just with the horror and mystery factor ramped up heavily. My inspiration to make CHORDSTRUCK stems from a lot of things, actually. The visual style of the series takes its inspiration from Japanese manga, something I've always found interesting. The story being told includes many things very personal to me that I want to share in the form of a series like this. And the characters are all inspired by many different things. It'd be hard to go over them all here. But they've all been created at different times in my life, starting back in 2017, the first records I have of any of the CHORDSTRUCK characters. As for the motivation, it's honestly hard to stay motivated to work on it. As much as I love this series, especially with how personal it is to me, it can be exhausting to draw hundreds of panels for the series. In fact, at this moment, there are 753 total drawn panels for the series if I did my calculations correctly. That is a lot of artwork to do, and it can definitely be tiring. The good thing to do is to take breaks when needed and not to overwork yourself. Overworking can lead to stress, which can lead to a lot worse. So whatever you're working on, just don't overwork yourself and take breaks when you need to. Hi, as I've heard a lot of a collaboration with Mascot Mayhem, what do you think about it? Its future, maybe? And what's your opinion about online mascot horrors in general, such as Sorcerer Roleplay, Loopy Day House Roleplay, and many others? For those of you who are unaware, Mascot Mayhem is an upcoming multiplayer mascot horror game featuring characters from many different mascot horror games, such as Playtown, Radio Wave, and even including our very own Hopper and Eugen Squid from Hopper's Hotel. The game revolves around a simple idea: two mascots teaming up to kill all survivors before they deliver all of the crystals to the portal. I personally love the concept of the game and think it has great potential. I recommend all of you to go show your support to the development team over at Redthrower Games, the lovely people making this game. As for my opinion on online mascot horror games, I think they're great. It's a good way to get fans of these games together to be able to enjoy the kinds of games they love. Is there a form of media you have yet to make that you would like to make in the future? Honestly, yes. Even though I've already done a lot of game dev and worked on comics and novels, I would love to work on some kind of animated short or series or something like that. Doing an animated series or short has been a long-time dream of mine. It may not happen, but it's definitely something I'd love to do. If you were to describe Inuyo High in one word, what would it be? Chaos. Next question. Will you have an early access thing for Inuyo High? Unfortunately, I doubt that I will have early access for this game. I may change my mind on this later on, but with this being our first paid release, I want to avoid giving out very many free copies to ensure that this is a successful launch. What's your favorite Inuyo High design you've done? Good question. I honestly loved every design I've made for the game. Each character has a unique vibe and I love that. But if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be Miss Sunshine. Her design is by far the most complex and I'm very happy with how she came out. The warm color palette is also very appealing in my opinion. Are you planning on working on each project at times? Like when Chapter 1 of Inuyo High releases, you start working on Chapter 1 of Hoppers? Unfortunately, no. The Hopper's Hotel reboot will start after the Inuyo High series ends. This is for a variety of reasons, but the main one is that the reboot is a very ambitious project. I can't talk much about it here, but I would much rather have the experience I will gain from working on the Inuyo High series before even beginning to work on the Hopper's Hotel reboot. Question for Inuyo High. Is Dog Dog going to be in this game for Segment 3? Hopper's Hotel. Who's your favorite? And CHORDSTRUCK. Will there be a Season 3? I highly doubt I'll ever use Dog Dog again for anything. He was a joke character and I have no use for him, but hey, it's possible. My personal favorite Hopper's Hotel character will definitely be Shockter. I know a lot about him that most people don't, of course, so I doubt he's a favorite for most people, but I personally really love him. Sly Fox will be a close second, though. As for your final question, CHORDSTRUCK Season 3 has not been announced. You all will see if there will be a third season when CHORDSTRUCK Season 2 concludes. Will all LoveChirp games get a reworked mobile port? Not reworked, but all current original LoveChirp games will be getting mobile ports. I can't promise this for the future, as who knows what kind of games we'll be making then, but for now the answer is yes. Who's your favorite Shapeyard character? Isn't Snooga the only one you revealed? So Snooga, I love Snooga. Snooga's great, love Snooga. I love Snooga with all my heart. Snooga's the best. Will we have a rabbit character? We have 7 of them, thank you very much. Is there still going to be a mobile port for Inuyo High, and could it release on iOS? Yes, Inuyo High will still be getting a mobile port. It will release after the game launches on PC. As for the iOS port, I unfortunately don't know. I've been looking into that stuff for a while, but I don't have a definite answer yet, sorry. Number 1. Will the price always be $5 for every Inuyo High lesson? Number 2. What are the main aspects of Hopper's Hotel you want to change with the reboot? Number 3. Would you ever consider making VR ports for any of your games? And number 4. Can Snooga get a cameo in Inuyo High? Great questions. The price will not always be $5 for each Inuyo High lesson. If I feel the games begin to improve in quality, the price will also increase. However, I will make sure the prices don't go too high to keep them affordable. With the Hopper's Hotel reboot, I mainly want to improve upon the original story to create something more engaging and interesting. Pretty much everything is going to be improved though. As for VR ports, I think they would be very cool, but I have not looked into VR game development before. If demand is high enough for it after Inuyo High releases, I will look into making a VR port. That or hiring someone to create one. As for that last question, I think we need Lucas in here to answer that. Can we get Lucas in here?
I can confirm that the last one is definitely happening. and that you guys are gonna expect Snuga in Lesson 1, and he's gonna be the main character, and he's gonna kill everyone, because he's Snuga.
My questions, Goose. 1. How did you learn to use Unreal Engine? 2. What do you think of Inuyo High? 3. Are you planning to make Garden of Sinsin 2? 4. When will Hopper's Hotel return? I started to learn Unreal Engine around early 2023, using mostly YouTube tutorials and online forums to help with any issues I was having. As for Inuyo High, I personally love the game and am very proud of how it's coming along. I hope you all feel the same way when it finally releases. I've answered these last 2 questions, so I'm gonna move on. After the Chapter 1 of Inuyo High, the next chapters will be DLC? Say a simple leak of Hopper's Hotel Remake. Any future Inuyo High lessons will be released as completely separate games. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this method of releasing separate parts of one story, but I feel in this case it's valid as the gameplay will change significantly with each lesson. And no, I'm not revealing anything about the Hopper's Hotel reboot just yet, sorry. What's your favorite character design that you've ever made? Do you prefer Hopper's Hotel or Inuyo High? What's your least and favorite project? Will characters like Metamon or the Exiled One appear in Inuyo High? The first question's tough, but of all the characters I've designed, my absolute #1 favorite would have to be Joe. I personally like Hopper's Hotel and Inuyo High equally. They both have their unique aspects, and it's hard to really compare the two. I see them as 2 sides of the same Mascot horror coin, both good in their own ways, and it's hard to like one more than the other. My least favorite project is definitely the dreaded Care of Gongon 3, but my favorite is definitely CHORDSTRUCK. Like I mentioned before, it's a very personal story to me, and it's something I'll always hold very dearly. As for the last question, I think I've answered something like this relating to Care of Gongon characters in Inuyo High, so I'll move on. Hello, here's my questions. 1. What year is Hopper's Hotel coming out? 2. Will the Hopper's Hotel be a remake or a reboot? 3. Will CHORDSTRUCK eventually become an indie animated show instead of just a webcomic? 4. When's the next trailer for Inuyo High coming out? And 5. Will Garden of Sinsin get a second chapter? The cliffhanger leaves room for a chapter 2. I unfortunately don't know when the Hopper's Hotel reboot will come out, but I do know that it will be after all of the Inuyo High lessons release, and it will be a reboot, not a remake. I would honestly love for CHORDSTRUCK to become an animated series. I've even tried turning it into one on multiple occasions, but currently I don't think it's really feasible. Honestly, I initially wanted it to be an animated series instead of a webcomic, but I settled for the webcomic route after some time. Unfortunately, I don't know when the next Inuyo High trailer will release either, but it will be closer to the game's launch. As for the final question, while I've already said that there are no plans for a Garden of Sinsin 2, I do want to comment on the ending. Yes, it was intentionally left very open and vague. Anyone can come up with their own ideas for what happens next in Jack and Sinsin's story, but no official continuation is planned as of now. 1. Will Inuyo High be terrifying? 2. Will the Hopper's Hotel reboot be in development soon? 3. Is making CHORDSTRUCK fun? If me being scared by my own game says anything, then yeah, Inuyo High will be pretty scary. Unfortunately, I doubt the Hopper's Hotel reboot will begin development anytime soon. It's in its very early concept stages right now, and it'll only truly begin development after Inuyo High concludes. And yes, CHORDSTRUCK is one of the most fun projects I work on. Even if it can be a bit tiring to draw the same characters over and over again, I still love telling the story. To wrap things up, here's one last question, which is actually 10 questions that I can't even fit into one screenshot, so we'll be doing these one by one. Number 1. How close is Inuyo High to release, and what can we expect in another trailer? Unfortunately, it's hard to say how close Inuyo High is to coming out, but I'll definitely keep you all updated on the game's progress. I'm not sure if you meant when the next trailer would release or what would be in it, so I'll just answer both. Like I said, I'm unsure of when the next trailer will release, but it will be when the game is close to releasing. As for the contents of the trailer, it'll definitely include gameplay and new unseen areas and mechanics. Number 2. Who's your favorite person to work with and your favorite character in any of these games you created? If I have to be honest, and I mean this with no offense to anyone else I work with, Charcoal has been a close friend of mine for a long time, and even if I don't work with her as much now, she's been here since the beginning and I appreciate that. As for my favorite character in any of my games, it would probably be Inuyo himself. He's such a complex and interesting character, and I'm very excited for you all to learn more about him. Number 3. What can we expect from the Hopper's Hotel reboot, and is there anything you can tell us about it, since I'm interested in what it will be like? I mean, I can't wait to see what your team is cooking up. For what you can expect from the reboot, honestly, a lot. The game will be quite expansive, though I can't talk much about it yet. It'll feature things I've never seen done before in a Mascot horror game, and I'm very excited for you all to see it. I guess what I can say is that many of the important characters of the game are quite complex, and the game will delve into their backstories and personalities quite a lot. Number 4. Are there any new games being made that we don't know about in the works? Yes, actually. There's a couple of things I've been quietly working on, though I haven't fully announced them yet. One of those things being the CHORDSTRUCK game. The title, plot, and genre of the game hasn't even been revealed yet, so I guess it counts. Number 5. What part of Inuyo High are you most excited for us to see? Honestly, I'm most excited for people to see the story I've been writing for this game. It tackles some deep themes, especially in future lessons, so I'm very excited to see people's reactions to it. Number 6. Will people from the team be present in any videos you post on YouTube? Quite frankly, I haven't thought about it before, but it's certainly possible. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another Q&A video, but featuring different team members in the future. Number 7. For Goose. What got you to make games in the first place? Honestly, ever since I was young, I've always loved video games, so naturally as a creative person, I wanted to make some myself. It wasn't until I heard of Garden of Sinsin and saw how easily some people were able to make such a successful game that I decided to give it a try, and I'm very glad that I did. Of course, I had many ideas for games before this, one of which is actually being worked on now, so not everything I wanted to make has been inspired by Mascot Horror. Number 8. Will you make a video of everything you managed to get done in the original Hopper's Hotel 3? I'm asking this because I was genuinely pumped to see how the game would turn out, and I was a bit disappointed when I found out you cancelled it. I understand why and I respect your choice, but I feel it's only fair since we've been waiting for and supporting the game for a whole year now. I totally get that and I agree with you. Unfortunately, since the story and ideas will be reused for the reboot, I can't show off anything from the original Hopper's Hotel 3 yet. However, after the reboot version of it releases, I'll make sure to showcase all of the original content. Number 9. Why do you guys take so long to post on YouTube? Not that I'm frustrated about it or anything, but recently it's been taking weeks, if not months, to update us on anything. Just pointing that out. Honestly, most of the time I'm so busy working on LoveChirp content that I don't have much time to put together YouTube videos. It's not that I don't want to, because I do. I've just been busy is all. I'll try to do better when it comes to that. Thanks for pointing it out. Number 10. A bit similar to my first question, but will you make videos of what you got done in some, if not all of your original games, like with the original Inuyo High? Examples: Hopper's Hotel 2 Remastered, Gongon 2 Remastered. I'm saying this because you've had a lot of canceled games recently, and from what I could see from the comments, people were genuinely excited to see those games, including me. Also, I feel like even if we didn't get to see the game, we should at least get a taste of what we could have gotten. I know that you've acknowledged how we felt in your Quarter 3 update video, and I understand why those games were cancelled completely. Don't get me wrong. I just think that we should get to see at least a bit of what those games looked like. Honestly, I understand this. I would have totally shown off more of the cancelled Care of Gongon 2 remake, but I accidentally deleted the project file, so... Also, the Hopper's Hotel Remaster is still going to release alongside the mobile port of Hopper's Hotel 2, so you will also be getting that. I get the feeling of something you're excited for being cancelled. I hate having to cancel games sometimes, but all of the current projects I'm working on are ones I have no intention of cancelling. They're projects I truly feel like will continue on despite the hardships. And there we go. I think I'm done answering questions for the next 6 to 8 weeks of my life, and I'm done. I'm out of here. Wishlist Inuyo High, listen 1 on Steam, read CHORDSTRUCK, bye, I'm out.